Chapter 11 Black Steel Beer. After leaving Red Leaf Town, Shifeng brought Blackie along as they headed straight towards Dark Moon Valley. Brother Feng, we're on the path towards Dark Moon Valley. That's a level 4 monster area. Can't we choose a safer place? Seeing that Shifeng's target was level 4 monsters, Blackie couldn't help but ask nervously. Challenging higher levels in God's domain was extremely difficult. Usually, players would just challenge monsters that are 1 level higher than themselves. Challenging monsters 2 levels higher required at least a 6-man party for it to be possible. However, even 6-man parties wouldn't carry out such an action. Compared to exhausting themselves just to kill a single level 3 monster, it was much more efficient to just kill a level 2 monster. Shifeng and Blackie were only 2 people. Ignoring Shifeng, who was a level 2 swordsman, Blackie himself was still a level 0 cursemancer. He was just free food to a level 4 monster. Going against level 4 monsters just with the 2 of them was utterly suicide. Shifeng only smiled regarding Blackie's worries. He securely said, "Relax, can't you see that I'm already level 2? That friend of mine is an expert beta tester. If it weren't for our good relation, he wouldn't even tell me such a secret. You can just wait to get on the leveling rocket." Shifeng pushed all the problems that came with him being a reincarnated person onto his good friend. Now all his actions in God's domain could be easily answered, too. He also didn't have to explain much since Blackie would easily believe him. This was because a beta tester was the best explanation. As expected of Brother Feng, you're still the greatest. No wonder you didn't join Shadow Workshop to earn money. With an expert beta tester giving you pointers, you could definitely earn a lot of money in God's domain. The happiness of my body's lower half will depend on you now. Blackie laughingly said as he became relieved. When joined the party before, he was very surprised to see Shifeng already at level 2. Currently, there had yet to be any news of a level 2 player in Red Leaf Town. Even elites of a workshop were no exception. However, Shifeng had reached it. His leveling speed was absolutely terrifying. Blackie knew about Shifeng's standards. Although his skills weren't bad, he definitely wasn't that good. Before, Blackie still had some suspicions about the news of the beta tester. However, all his worries disappeared after seeing Shifeng's level, because only a beta tester could make something like this happen. Blackie had also started believing the possibility of Shifeng earning 16,000 credits in 10 days. Scram, this brother's straight. Shifeng rolled his eyes at Blackie, slightly widening the distance between them. However, Blackie's gaze still carried some impurities, causing Shifeng to panic slightly. What are you thinking, Brother Feng? My dream lover is the snow goddess, Gentle Snow. Blackie hurriedly explained. The snow goddess. Shifeng had a very deep impression of this woman. She had performed extremely outstanding in other virtual games. Not only did she possess an absolutely beautiful face and devilish body, but she also had a proud attitude which was backed up by her excellent battle techniques. Because of these traits, she became even better received by the public. After 3 years since God's domain's opening, she had become a top-tier expert within the whole country. She was also the top 10 berserker within the country. She was dubbed as the battle goddess. She had starred in plenty of commercials. Her personal net worth at that time had exceeded tens of billions of credits. Not only that, but she was also the vice guild leader of Ouroboros. Millions of players would move with her single command. During those times, Shifeng was only a minor character within God's domain. He could only look up to Gentle Snow's shadow. Unfortunately, sometime later, Gentle Snow suddenly vanished from God's domain. Her disappearance became a hot topic within God's domain for some time. Brother Feng, look, that's an elite monster. Blackie pointed towards a snow-white fox in the distant paddy field as he shouted. Shifeng looked over to the golden fields, discovering a white-colored fox. There was even a little rabbit in the fox's mouth right now. Cunning Snow Fox Rare Elite. Level 2. HP 450. Blackie, your eyesight and luck are seriously too good. You even spotted a rare elite. We're going to earn a fortune this time. Shifeng stealthily walked closer to the fox as he directed Blackie, you just attack from a distance and leave the rest to me. Rare elites were a special type of elite. They had the same capabilities as a normal elite monster, but the rewards they give out were a lot greater. It would take a long time for it to respawn after being killed. Whether you could meet one depended on your luck. Brother Feng, you must be crazy. That's a level 2 elite. We can't go against it. Blackie wanted to stop Shifeng. Only a small party of the same level could deal with an elite. Fighting one alone, without any healing, would definitely lead to death. However, Blackie was too late. Shifeng had quickly circled to the snow fox's back, launching a sudden attack. Chop! A sword strike flew. The snow fox's actions were very nimble. It immediately avoided a vital hit to its abdomen, taking only 32 damage. Such nimble actions. Its defense isn't low either. Shifeng made a quick judgment after observing how the snow fox dodged and took damage. He had the might of 1,000 title, so all his attributes were increased by 10%. There was also an additional 5 points to both strength and endurance, increasing his strength to 13 and endurance to 10. His agility was also increased to 17 points. Now his attack power was 29, and he had 260 HP. With great speeds, the enraged snow fox bit towards Shifeng's neck. It activated the skill Fatal Blow. However, with 17 agility, Shifeng's speed was not any slower than the snow fox. By the time the snow fox had rushed over, Shifeng's novice sword had already struck down towards the fox's head. Pung, Shifeng only had 13 points of strength. It was still not enough to block the snow fox's attack. 49 damage appeared above Shifeng's head, and his novice sword's durability decreased by 1 point, as well. On the other hand, the snow fox only received 5 damage. The gap between the two of them was as clear as day. We're dead, we're so dead this time. Sweat started appearing on Blackie's forehead. He had seen damage from common monsters, but he never imagined that there was such a great difference from an elite monster. Shifeng was lucky he had blocked the attack with his sword, only taking close to 50 damage. If the attack landed on his body, wouldn't it be over 100? Shifeng had reached level 2 with great difficulty. If he died this time, he would return to level 1, his great advantage over others would be gone. Move, Blackie, Shifeng shouted. He really must have gone mad. Fine, at worst I'll just die once. I'm still level 0, anyway. Blackie clenched his teeth and started chanting a curse, his hands making gestures. A dark arrow shot out, dealing 5 damage to the snow fox. Blackie sucked in a deep breath when he saw the damage. He had added all his points into intelligence, yet 5 damage was all he could do. An elite monster's defense was just terrifying. Shifeng, who was facing the snow fox, was under even more pressure. The snow fox had very high agility. It was able to dodge whenever Shifeng wanted to use chop. In the end, Shifeng could only use normal slashes, dealing 18 damage each time. However, each successful bite from the snow fox would deal over 100 damage. It was greatly disproportionate. 10 seconds later, Shifeng's HP fell to 31, while the snow fox still had 244. I guess there's still no way to directly face off against an agility type elite with such a small amount of skills. Shifeng looked at the snow fox's half remaining HP. If he continued to drag on this fight, he would be the one to die. He had to start bursting. Shifeng took out a bottle of black steel beer from his bag. After taking 2 mouthfuls, he became slightly drunk, and his vision started becoming blurry. He then activated gravity liberation, his speed increasing by a huge leap. He arrived at the snow fox's side with lightning speed. When Shifeng looked at the snow fox's level again, it displayed level 0, whereas he was level 2. Suddenly, the suppression due to level difference was removed, letting Shifeng's damage rise. Similarly, however, his body became difficult to control. Die. Shifeng's eyes were icy cold, his grip around the novice sword tightened. Thundering flash. Wah, wah, wah. 3 lightning quick slashes struck past the snow fox's waist, causing it to let out a tragic cry. Damages of -30, -36, -42 appeared on top of its head, instantly taking away a quarter of its HP. Afterward, another chop dealt 43 damage to it. The snow fox desperately resisted, but Shifeng's speed after activating gravity liberation was very fast. Even if he was in a drunken state, with his many years of battle experiences, Shifeng could still easily maneuver his body. This had placed the snow fox at an absolute disadvantage. Damn, what did you drink, Brother Fong? You're suddenly so fierce. Blackie's eyes nearly popped out of their sockets as he saw Shifeng's cheat-like performance. At this moment, the fierce snow fox had become Shifeng's plaything. It had 0 chance at resisting. When the snow fox had 42 HP remaining, Shifeng was about to give the last strike. Suddenly, Shifeng felt a shiver going down the back of his neck. It was as if he had a dagger pointed at his neck. It was a terrible feeling. Shifeng instinctively leapt forward. In the next moment, a bright snowy dagger had slashed across his original position. Shifeng had surprisingly avoided that strike. Behind Shifeng, a figure with an extremely surprised expression revealed himself. He had already kept his presence hidden incredibly well, he did not even let out a single sound. Not only that, after he had raised to level 1, his agility had reached 10 points. However, his sneak attack had actually been dodged. What sort of intuition did Shifeng have? Friend, we have no hatred or enmity between us. It isn't good doing something like this. Shifeng focused his gaze on the newly appeared assassin as he coldly said so. If you wish to place blame, then blame yourself for angering its shadow. It is too late even if you regret it now. Quiet Wolf said excitedly. He held his dagger in reverse grip, paying attention to Shifeng's every movement. Quiet Wolf had been following Shifeng while also reporting his location. He never imagined that they would meet an elite monster. The snow fox's current target was Shifeng. Although Shifeng had good skills, with the snow fox holding him back, Quiet Wolf could definitely find a chance to kill if Shifeng's remaining strand of life, then he could kill the snow fox. There were only benefits for him. As for the cursemancer on the side, he was just garbage that was not even worth mentioning. Naturally, the snow fox wouldn't care about any of this. It just knew that it had to kill Shifeng. The snow fox suddenly bellowed, its snow-white skin turning into a flaming red. Its body also increased in size and its HP rose by 20%. Then, the snow fox activated its final skill, Tearing Bite. The skill amplified its damage by 50%, also causing a bleeding damage of 30, lasting for 5 seconds. You can go and regret. Now, I'll take care of this snow fox in your stead. Quiet Wolf rushed at Shifeng. He was prepared to kill off Shifeng the moment he dodged the snow fox. Chapter 12, A Timeful Parry. System. Player Quiet Wolf has attacked you and entered a yellow name state. Duration of 1 hour. Any players who attack yellow name players will not receive any penalty. Shifeng only had 31 HP remaining. Being attacked from both sides by the snow fox and Quiet Wolf put Shifeng in a very dangerous position. Despicable. Standing at a distance, Blackie scolded Quiet Wolf for sneaking an attack at such a moment. However, he couldn't change a thing about it. The two of them were too far apart. It was too hard for him to land a hit on Quiet Wolf. He could only aim his attack on the snow fox, hoping to kill it off a second earlier and not letting Quiet Wolf profit off of them. Although mages had high output, compared to hitting monsters, it was far harder to land a hit on players unless they stood still without moving. This was because the moment the dark arrow shot out, there would be a prediction line appearing. In a situation where the distance was great, players with good standards could usually dodge it. If it was an expert, then dodging it would be a piece of cake. Just as the snow fox and Quiet Wolf were about to rush up, the corners of Shifeng's mouth revealed a cold smile. He had been interacting with Quiet Wolf in shadow for years now, so he was extremely familiar with Quiet Wolf's strengths and habits. Shifeng took 2 steps back, forming a perfect triangle between the snow fox and Quiet Wolf. Shifeng gripped the novice sword tightly in front of his chest. He stood there without moving as he awaited the arrival of their attacks. Did he give up? Quiet Wolf started looking down on Shifeng when he saw Shifeng preparing to block with his sword. Although players could reduce the damage received by defending the attack, the snow fox was an elite. Even if Shifeng could defend it, the attack would still cause around 50 damage. With just 31 HP remaining, Shifeng couldn't even take a hit. The snow fox was a step ahead, biting towards Shifeng. Tearing Bite, just in time. Instead of retreating, Shifeng advanced. He rushed towards the snow fox. The novice sword blocked the snow fox in its mouth. Using the life-saving skill parry, Shifeng could block a frontal attack once. Shifeng then continued by lifting the snow fox. The snow fox had low power, so Shifang had easily tossed it towards Quiet Wolf. Everything happened too quickly. Quiet Wolf, who was rushing towards Shifang, could not react in time. In an instant, his shoulder was bitten by the snow fox. A damage of -164 appeared on Quiet Wolf's head. His HP was instantly cleared down to 0. How? Quiet Wolf was unbelievably shocked. His heart was filled with unwillingness as he stared at Shifang's ridiculing smile. He never imagined that players could do such a thing. If he had known about it, he definitely wouldn't rush forward, just to get himself killed. At this point, regardless of how unwilling Quiet Wolf was, his HP had turned to 0. His body could only fall and turn into starlight. He had even dropped a piece of equipment. In the distance, Blackie became dumbfounded. He had even forgotten to attack the snow fox. Blackie, stop daydreaming. Hurry up and attack the snow fox. Shifang yelled and rushed at the snow fox again. After Blackie started reacting again, he chanted a curse, madly attacking the snow fox. Without Quiet Wolf's disturbance, the near-death snow fox was just a decoration. Within 10 seconds, the snow fox released a wail before falling down. System. Rare elite cunning snow fox killed. Obtained 130 express. Shifang was level 2 now, so this amount of EXP was nothing to him. What Shifang was concerned about was the loot. Rare elites were the love of all God's domain players because of their shocking drop rates. Furthermore, this was the first kill of the snow fox, so the loot must be even better. It can't be. It actually dropped a weapon. Shifang obtained a staff and arm guard. Blackwood staff, bronze rank. Level 1. Equipment requirements. Strength 5. Attack power +8. Intelligence +3. Vitality +1. Mana +30. Durability 2020. This equipment would greatly strengthen a mage. Not only was its attack power high, it even gave an additional 3 intelligence. If a mage equipped it, then their damage might increase up to 2 levels. Fox skin gloves, common rank. Leather armor. Level 1. Equipment requirements. Strength 3. Defense +4. Durability 2020. On the other hand, Quiet Wolf had contributed a pair of level 0 common leathered shoes with +3 defense. And here I thought it was some grey trash equipment. It seems Quiet Wolf's luck isn't that bad, being able to obtain a piece of common equipment. Shifang had a different view of Quiet Wolf now. Obtaining a piece of common equipment at the starting period of the game definitely depended on luck. However, Quiet Wolf's luck now benefited Shifang instead. Swordsman could wear both plate armor and cloth armor. Now that Shifang had 2 of these new items, his defense had increased by a lot. Blackie, your equipment. Shifang passed the Blackwood staff to Blackie. However, Blackie did not receive the equipment. He had a hesitant look on his face. Killing the snow fox depended entirely on Shifang. Blackie wasn't of much help, yet he had received the best equipment, a piece of bronze equipment no less. At this stage of the game, there weren't many players capable of owning such an item. It was extremely valuable. What's happened to you? Aren't we good brothers? Why are you being courteous with me? Besides, you're a cursemancer. Once you've reached level 1, you can fully exert the staff's greatest capabilities. With that, we can level even faster. Shifang said in a serious tone as if he knew what Blackie was thinking. After some thought, Blackie was able to make sense of it. He no longer refused it, saying, thanks. I'll definitely use it properly. Now, that's much better. Shifang laughed. Let's go. We're going to Dark Moon Valley. Red Leaf Town. Quiet Wolf, what were you even doing? Not only did you die, you've even dropped a piece of expensive equipment. Do you know how precious that equipment is? Flaming Tiger snapped as he cursed. Quiet Wolf's expression was as gloomy as dark water. That pair of shoes was something he had obtained after grinding for 7 hours, and now he had actually lost it. Even his heart was bleeding right now. Although he had wanted to explain, he did not know how to. Should he say how he was toyed with by Shifang? That wasn't something he was willing to admit. However, even if he wanted to snatch the equipment back, he wasn't an opponent for Shifang. Brother Tiger, I discovered a rare elite in the wild. I didn't think I would be discovered by that kid when I was about to kill off the elite. That kid had even brought along another person. In a 1 versus 3 situation, I wasn't their opponent at all. Quiet Wolf pretended to be enraged as he turned black into white. He continuously tempted Flaming Tiger. That brat should have killed the rare elite by now. He must have obtained some good equipment. They were on the path towards Dark Moon Valley. We could still catch up to them if we chase after them. We might even be able to get back the equipment. Rare elite. Flaming Tiger's eyes started to shine. He no longer questioned Quiet Wolf. Instead, he was extremely interested in the loot of the rare elite. He said excitedly, let's go. We'll immediately chase after them. They actually dare to steal my equipment. I will make them regret even playing God's domain. Within a short moment, Flaming Tiger gathered all the members of Shadow Workshop present in Red Leaf Town. He brought along 11 workshop members and rushed towards Dark Moon Valley. No matter what, he wanted to kill off Shifang and obtain his equipment. At this moment, Shifang and Blackie had already arrived at Dark Moon Valley. There was a smithy beside the flowing creek. Shifang and Blackie quietly stood in front of it. They were looking at a barrel-chested, middle-aged uncle. In his hand, the man wielded a steel hammer. Ding, dang, he kept hammering on the crimson red ore. Time slowly flowed by, bit by bit. Brother Fong, are we still going to wait? It's already been half an hour now. Blackie said. We have to wait. Without patience, he won't give us the quest. Shifang affirmed. In his previous life, hammer trading had passed by this place on accident. He had discovered a smithy here. However, the blacksmith here didn't pay any attention to him regardless of how hammer trading talked to him. This had enraged hammer trading, so he decided to drag it on with the blacksmith. He kept standing to the side, sending death glares to the blacksmith. He had never imagined that after some time, the blacksmith would actively speak up. Not only that, the blacksmith even gave out a hidden quest. This had allowed hammer trading to learn the forging talent, becoming the forging master of the era. When Shifang thought about obtaining the forging talent, coupling it with the book of forging, advancing into an advanced forging apprentice became a very easy task. When that time came, gold coins would rain into his pockets. After waiting for more than 10 minutes, do you two have an interest in forging? The middle-aged blacksmith suddenly asked. Yes, sir, we've loved forging since we were young, Shifang immediately said. The middle-aged blacksmith nodded his head, saying in a satisfied tone, then since you love forging, I can teach it to you. But first, could you help me retrieve 100 pieces of meteorite ore? They can be found on the west side of Crimson Star Mine. Of course, we would gladly be at your service, Shifang respectfully answered. System, Hidden Quest, Road of Forging, accepted. Player is requested by Forging Master Jack to obtain 100 pieces of meteorite ore from Crimson Star Mine. Crimson Star Mine was the nest of level 4 kobolds. These monsters loved ore the most. They would spend every day mining within the mines. As such, kobolds were born with great strength. However, they had short limbs. Because they stayed underground for long periods of time, their range of vision was short. They could only detect enemies within a 35-yard distance. This distance was also the maximum range of attack for a mage. At the mine's entrance, there were many kobolds walking around. An entire group of them would be attracted even if only one of them was attacked. Kobold, level 4, HP 420. Here, first, some food and drink to fill ourselves. We'll start work after that. Shifang brought out a black steel beer and an apple pie. Blackie didn't understand what Shifang was trying to do, but since it was Shifang's request, he must have his own reasons. Blackie sat down and started eating. 10 seconds after eating the apple pie, all of Blackie's attributes were suddenly increased by +1 points, the effect lasting 30 minutes. After drinking the black steel beer, Blackie's vision started becoming hazy. When he looked at the distant level 4 kobolds, their levels were suddenly reduced by 2, becoming level 2. Alright, let's start then. A bottle of black steel beer's drunken effect only lasts 30 minutes. Shifang stood up. He took out a smoke bomb and walked closer to the mine's entrance. Then, he threw it at the group of level 4 kobolds. There were currently over 10 of them there. Smoke bomb, able to reduce the visibility in a radius of 10 by 10 yards. Duration of 1 hour. The smoke bomb was able to reduce a monster's vision by 10 yards. It wasn't particularly useful against other monsters. However, it was great when facing kobolds. Their vision was now reduced to 25 yards. As long as a mage attacked from a 30-yard distance, the kobolds would not be able to spot them at all. They could only stand there and wait for their deaths. Attack, Shifang pointed to the kobolds within the smoke. Blackie was half doubting Shifang's actions, but he still chose to believe in Shifang. His mouth started chanting a curse. A moment later, a dark arrow shot out, landing directly on the foremost kobold. Chapter 13 Blackie's good luck. The kobold within the smoke was hit, 21 damage appearing above his head. The kobold became furious after being inexplicably attacked. Like a searchlight, the kobold looked around in all directions with his blood-red eyes. Such an action had also caused the other kobolds to start being on guard. Within the forest, Blackie's heartbeat kept on speeding up. He was extremely panicked. Although the kobolds looked to be level 2, their attributes 100% belonged to a level 4. Drinking the black steel beer allowed a player to become drunk, significantly increasing the player's courage. As a result, all enemies seen by the player would have their levels reduced by 2. However, this would not reduce the kobolds' attributes. If these kobolds came rushing at them, only death awaited Shifang and Blackie. Yet, Blackie's worries were for naught. The attacked kobold looked at its surroundings. However, it did not discover any enemies. After whining for a bit, it returned to its original state. The other kobolds also stopped paying attention to their deranged companion as they continued walking about. Relax, they won't attack us as long as you maintain a 30-yard distance. Shifang clapped Blackie's shoulders as he confidently commented. He had been planning all this ahead of time. Otherwise, he wouldn't have spent that much money buying all those items. Blackie became even more courageous after Shifang's encouragement. He continuously chanted curses and shot out dark arrows. The kobold only had 420 HP, and it couldn't withstand Blackie's bombardment at all. After receiving more than 20 dark arrows, it breathed its final breath. Meanwhile, the other kobolds by its side did not show any reaction at all. Blackie became excited when he saw the first kobold fall. He had killed a monster 4 levels higher. Although the EXP was shared due to being in a 2-man party, the amount of express he received was still plenty. His experience had risen by 5% within an instant. This meant that Blackie would level up after killing 20 kobolds. He was even safe and unharmed. If the monsters did not disappear completely, their leveling speed would be terrifying. With such a great way of leveling, they would be able to rise even to level 6 very effectively. Blackie now understood why Shifang was so confident. Even if they had wasted several hours from traveling, being able to grind on monsters here was definitely worth it. After a while, the group of 20 or so kobolds in front of the mine's entrance was cleared out completely. Blackie had also raised to level 1. After he equipped the Blackwood staff and added all his free ability points into intelligence, his damage was increased by a large leap. He could now take away 45 HP from the kobolds in a single hit. Meanwhile, the group of kobolds had dropped 12 copper coins and a level 3 common cloth armor. There were also 5 pieces of meteorite ore. Blackie's luck was quite good. According to what Shifang had known, the drop rate of meteorite ore from the kobolds was not high, only one would drop out of 10 of them. Nearly 1,000 kobolds needed to be killed to obtain 100 pieces of meteorite ore. Now, however, just a group kobolds had given them 5 pieces of meteorite ore. After storing the drops, Shifang went on to lure more monsters. With the advantage of his 16 agility, Shifang's speed was faster than the kobolds. Within moments, he had lured over 30 kobolds. He also maintained the distance of around 20 yards, but not exceeding 25 yards. When he had lured all the kobolds into the smoke cloud, Shifang increased his speed abruptly. He quickly distanced himself over 25 yards from the kobolds, causing them to lose their target. After losing their target, the kobolds stood on the spot in a daze. Blackie, who stood over 30 yards away, took the chance to attack. The group of over 30 kobolds took less than 10 minutes to be cleared. They dropped another 21 coppers and 6 pieces of meteorite ore. Shifang and Blackie's experience also greatly increased. In such a way, Shifang continued luring monsters while Blackie continued dealing damage. Although the process felt mechanical and boring, Blackie was not complaining one tiny bit. On the contrary, he became even more vigorous with each kill. He wished he could just kill all day without resting. After an hour, Blackie's level had also risen to level 2. His dark arrow rose to level 3, and his damage went from more than 40 to more than 60. Such a rocket-like leveling speed made him speechlessly happy, giving him even more motivation to aim for level 3. Their kobold killing efficiency also increased by quite a bit with Blackie's greatly improved damage. The only downside was the increase in MP consumption following the dark arrow's level up. Fortunately, there was the magic water that Shifeng had bought. With it, Blackie could fully regenerate his MP before Shifeng had lured a new group of monsters, allowing him to deal damage without pause. Meanwhile, Shifeng was observing Blackie's condition while he lured a suitable number of kobolds. Other than that, he was just picking up the loot. The number of copper coins and meteorite ore were steadily increasing. After another hour of Blackie's effort, they had managed to collect 73 pieces of meteorite ore, 6 pieces of common equipment, and 264 coppers. They would be able to gather the remaining meteorite ore if they grinded for another hour. The system notification rang out just at this moment. System, player Lonely Snow has sent you 10 coppers. Subsequently, Shifeng received a communication request. The person contacting him was Lonely Snow. Shifeng had just finished luring a group of monsters. Since he had nothing to do, he accepted the call request. Hello, brother expert, I'm Lonely Snow. We met before at the town hall, and you've even pointed me to a grinding spot. That place was just too great. There wasn't anybody stealing mobs from me, and I could also easily handle them. I'm already level 2 now. I've also looted a lot of materials and copper coins. I've already mailed you the 10 coppers. I wonder if you've received it. Lonely Snow was extremely excited. Previously, he was worried that this expert would not bother with him any longer. This was because experts were usually very proud. They wouldn't even look at minor characters like him. Lonely Snow had earned over 60 coppers from that treasured location he purchased. His level had even risen to level 2, leading the other players by quite a lot. Spending 20 coppers for this were definitely worth it. So it was you. I've received the 10 coppers. Shifeng only remembered about it after being reminded. Indeed, there was such a matter. However, that was when he needed the money to kill the town mayor a little earlier, so he had just casually given out some pointers. He didn't really mind regarding the remaining 10 coppers. Brother expert, the level 2 dungeon Deathly Forest has already been opened, so I wanted to invite you to dive into the dungeon. My friends are all veterans, and they're all level 2 now. They will definitely not drag you down. Of course, all swordsman equipment obtained from the dungeon will belong to you. Do you perhaps have the time? Lonely Snow was slightly nervous. Experts usually disdained bringing along other people, especially rookie newbies. It was the reason why Lonely Snow mentioned that there were level 2 veterans in the party. He was afraid Shifeng would just outright reject him. Deathly Forest. Shifeng had a deep impression of this dungeon. As long as the number of level 2 players in Red Leaf Town reaches a certain amount, the first level 2 dungeon in Red Leaf Town, Deathly Forest, would be opened. Along with the Deathly Forest's opening, players of God's Domain were made known to the difficulty of dungeons. Deathly Forest was only conquered after many players had reached level 4 or 5. Meanwhile, Deathly Forest's true purpose was to increase the number of skills a player could possess. The monsters within the dungeon mainly dropped the basic skill books for every job. However, the most precious item within the dungeon was the forging design. Only the final boss, Werewolf Fellet, dropped it with a very low probability. Shifeng was very interested in this forging design. If he could learn it, then he would be able to further progress in his plans. Fine. However, I have a condition of my own. I will be bringing a cursemancer, so all cursemancer and swordsman equipment will belong to me. Also, I want all materials and design papers that the boss drops. If you all are willing to agree to this condition, then I can go with you. Shifeng had just casually asked for the majority of the profits. However, he did not feel anything wrong with it. Lonely Snow started sweating all over after hearing Shifeng's condition. As expected, an expert's asking price was definitely high. However, when Lonely Snow considered the strengths of a beta tester, he still reluctantly agreed. All right then, I agree. I'll tell it to the others. Expert, when will you be free to come? We'll meet at the dungeon's entrance in another 2 or so hours. Shifeng estimated Blackie's killing speed. In over an hour, they would definitely be able to finish gathering the 100 pieces of meteorite ore. That's good. Then I'll start preparing over here. I'll see you at the dungeon's entrance, brother expert. Lonely Snow ended the call, a heavy weight being freed from him. At this moment, there were 3 other people standing beside Lonely Snow. Every one of them was level 2. What did that expert say? A handsome ranger asked. Lonely Snow explained it to them word for word. What dog's fart expert? He's just here to take advantage and rip off equipment from us. What's the point of inviting him? If we add another 2 damage dealers, we can enter the dungeon all the same. A shield warrior angrily cursed. The male cleric standing at a side curled his lips, saying in a bad mood, then he's saying that all mage class equipment belongs to his friend. Lonely Snow advised, that person is a real expert. He's also a beta tester. He definitely has a deep understanding of the dungeon. He might even be able to guide us through it. Don't you all want to clear the Deathly Forest? So, what if he's a beta tester? He just had an extra month of experience in God's Domain and a rough understanding of it. Besides, the data has long been changed after the game's official release. Even if he knew a lot about the Deathly Forest, how much use could there be? The shield warrior asked in disdain. He felt that those beta testers were only lucky. Their actual skills and strength might not even be comparable to them. We'll see how it goes after they arrive. If it's no good, then by that time there will be a lot more level 2 players. It won't be too late, even if we find someone else by then. The leading ranger said. After hearing this ranger speak, the others nodded their heads in agreement. At this moment, there was a flash of light in Dark Moon Valley. Shifeng had finally raised to level 3. Unfortunately, the leaderboard for levels had yet to be opened. Otherwise, he would definitely be ranked first on Red Leaf Town's leaderboard for levels. Finally level 3, Shifeng hurriedly added 4 attribute points towards agility, letting his agility reach 20 points. System, player's agility has reached 20 points. Activating agility hidden basic skill fast and nimble. Fast and nimble active. When activated, possess a body exceeding the normal man. Body's degree of freedom is completely released. Shifeng suddenly felt a gush of strength from his entire body. He also felt his body becoming unspeakably agile. His five senses also received a great improvement. These improvements allowed Shifeng to better exert his body's potential. Besides Shifeng reaching level 3, the last kobold that Blackie killed had unexpectedly dropped a level 1 bronze equipment, war boots. Shifeng couldn't help but admire Blackie's luck. Common monsters of level 1 to 3 would not drop any bronze equipment. The drop rate of bronze equipment from level 4 wild monsters was 1 out of 10,000. Yet Blackie had actually got it. His luck was just heaven-defying. Brother Fong, what are the attributes? Let me see as well. Blackie said so excitedly. The war boots attributes are quite good. Shifeng displayed the attributes. Recruits war boots bronze rank, plate armor. Level 1. Equipment requirement, strength 6. Defense plus 8, strength plus 1, endurance plus 1. Movement speed plus 1, durability 2020. This is too great. With this equipment, Brother Feng's speed would become even faster, Blackie happily said. Before, it was only him who obtained a bronze equipment. It had troubled him to no end. Now that Shifeng had one as well, his heart became relieved as he said, Brother Feng, how many meteorite ore are we still missing? Not many, just 4 more pieces. We'll be okay after another wave. Shifeng looked into his bag. Unknowingly, there were already 96 pieces of meteorite ores in his bag. If someone else had come here to grind, they might have needed 5 to 6 hours to obtain this many. Luckily, there was Blackie. They had gathered most of it after just killing a few hundred kobolds. Just when Shifeng was about to lure more monsters, his keen senses detected 3 blurry figures were closing in from behind Blackie. Blackie, dodge quickly, Shifeng yelled as he pulled out his novice sword. With lightning speed, Shifeng rushed over. Blackie remained ignorant of the situation. He was still stuck being happy, unaware of the things approaching him. Only finding out now, you're too late, he'll be the first one. 3 figures suddenly appeared. They were 3 assassin players, and one of them was Quiet Wolf, the person who was killed before. A mage being simultaneously ambushed by 3 assassins would die, without question. There would be no suspense to it, even if Blackie was 1 level higher than them. Chapter 14 Extraordinary Player's Physique. The simultaneous attacks from the 3 assassins caused a lot of damage to Blackie. Even though he wore several pieces of common cloth armor, he had still lost nearly half of his HP. System. Guild Shadow has attacked your party. All party members are allowed to attack members of Guild Shadow without penalty. Duration of 1 hour. I'll fight you guys. Blackie knew he was sure to die. His speed was not comparable with an assassin's. However, he also wanted to retaliate before he died. Blackie started chanting a curse, firing a dark arrow towards Quiet Wolf at 0 distance. Quiet Wolf smiled in disdain. Although the arrow was unavoidable, he still had 80 HP at level 0. How strong could a cursemancer's attack be? Could it possibly instant kill him? Hong, the dark arrow hit Quiet Wolf. A damage of 76 points appeared above Quiet Wolf's head, instantly leaving him with only some leftover HP. Quiet Wolf immediately became dumbfounded after seeing such damage, his eyes nearly popping out of their sockets. The other 2 assassins were equally shocked. How is this even a cursemancer? This was just a cannon. The person who dealt the damage was also shocked. Blackie had never imagined that the level 3 dark arrow would be so powerful. In reality, however, it wasn't just the level 3 dark arrows taking effect. There was also the high damage Blackwood staff, the aura effect of Might of 1,000, and the bonus damage from level suppression. Such extreme damage was only possible with all these added together. Crap, let's kill him, brothers. His staff is definitely a mysterious iron equipment. As a veteran gamer, Quiet Wolf quickly reacted, revealing his greed towards Blackie's weapon. Blackie being able to deal such a high damage was definitely due to a mysterious iron weapon. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to nearly instant kill Quiet Wolf. Suddenly, the other 2 assassins became full of energy as they rushed towards Blackie. Not to mention a mysterious iron weapon, they didn't even have a common weapon. If they could get Blackie's mysterious iron weapon, then they would profit beautifully. The 3 assassins attacked again, leaving Blackie with only 6 HP remaining. When they saw that Blackie was about to die, the 3 assassins became even more excited. The mysterious iron weapon was about to come into their hands. At this moment, with unbelievable movement methods, Shifeng appeared in front, blocking Blackie. 3 sword strikes blocked the attacks from the 3 assassins, creating 3 sparks. All 3 assassins were sent flying backward. Before the assassins could get over their shock, streaks of thunder appeared within their vision. 3 streaks of thunder struck the assassins that were still floating in midair. Damages of -32, -41, -50 appeared on all 3 of their heads, all of their HP dropping to 0. Their bodies turned into starlight and disappeared within an instant. Because assassins had low defense and were under level suppression, the effect of a level 2 thundering flash was extremely horrifying. Brother Fong, Blackie became dumbfounded as he looked at Shifeng's back, dumbly saying, "Are you Brother Fong?" Everything had happened all too quickly. Shifeng had suddenly appeared and swung his sword 3 times, blocking 3 attacks from different directions. Then, he had followed it up with a thundering flash. All of these actions had been carried out within an instant. It was so fast that the assassins could not even react. Shifeng's actions and reactions were just inhuman. If Blackie wasn't familiar with the Shifeng in front of him, he might have even thought it was someone else pretending to be Shifeng. After sweeping his gaze around, Shifeng discovered 8 players surrounding them. Leading these players was Flaming Tiger. Shifeng no longer dared to stay behind, hurriedly saying, "Why are you still in a daze? Let's go." Shifeng had activated Fast and Nimble, completely releasing his body's degree of freedom. However, even though he had a constitution that could keep up and react to his thoughts, his actual body's attributes were too low. He had a very hard time controlling his body, and it was also mentally taxing. Taking explosive maneuvers 2 to 3 times was still possible, but doing it long-term was definitely too much. The enemies also consisted of numerous healers and jobs that equipped plate armor. Shifeng and Blackie's only choice, now, was to run away. Blackie continuously nodded his head. Everyone go with them. You must definitely get me my bronze equipment and take over this mine. Flaming Tiger licked the corner of his lips. He was extremely excited. He did not mind the death of the 3 assassins at all. Originally, Flaming Tiger was still burning with rage. They had spent hours at Dark Moon Valley searching for Shifeng and his partner, causing their leveling speed to fall greatly. However, they had accidentally discovered Shifeng and Blackie grinding monsters. At first, Flaming Tiger had wanted to immediately surround and kill the two. However, when he saw Blackie utilizing the smoke cloud at the cave's entrance to kill the level 4 kobolds, Flaming Tiger nearly died from excitement. His hatred towards Shifeng had also reduced by a large half. He had even wanted to thank Shifeng for giving him such a valuable location. The difficulty of killing monsters of a higher level was famously known. If he could kill level 4 monsters without any harm, then his leveling speed would be absolutely horrifying. It won't be more than 10 hours before he would be leading the other players. After he had gained a huge advantage over others, the task of uniting Red Leaf Town would be at his fingertips. When that time came, he might even become Shadow Workshop's captain. Countless virtual game companies had closed shop because of God's Domain's opening. There were billions of players joining God's Domain. To obtain their share in this, many enterprises and financial groups started investing in God's Domain, one after the other. God's Domain could be said to be the most profitable virtual game in the world. Flaming Tiger thought about how he would be able to stand out in Red Leaf Town. He thought about forcefully taking the large guilds down a peg. He also thought about becoming Shadow's captain. When that time came, obtaining expensive cars, beautiful ladies, and luxury mansions were only a matter of time. When Flaming Tiger thought of these things, he became unspeakably excited. He had to appreciate Shifeng for giving all of these things to him. However, appreciation remained just appreciation. He still couldn't let the bronze equipment on Shifeng and Blackie go. Brother Tiger, those two are too fast. We can't catch up to them, a berserker said. They're lucky that they run fast. However, this precious piece of land is enough. Flaming Tiger's eyes shone when he looked at the mine. He had already fantasized himself leading Red Leaf Town with flair. Brother Tiger, what about Quiet Wolf and the other two? The 3 of them fell back to level 0. They also lost quite a lot of skill proficiency, an elementalist asked. Flaming Tiger rolled his eyes at his subordinate, asking, is this even a problem? You saw as well just now. The kobolds within the smoke cloud won't attack players if they're attacked from a distance. Those are level 4 monsters. Leveling will be easy, so hurry them over here. Brother Tiger is still the smart one. Being able to find such a precious spot, Brother Tiger will definitely become the number 1 person in Shadow. The elementalist started bootlicking Flaming Tiger. Scram, number 1 person in Shadow. I am the number 1 person in God's Domain. Flaming Tiger angrily responded. The other members of Shadow also agreed, one after another, laughing at the elementalist for licking on the wrong boot. A moment later, 3 mage players started attacking from a distance. As for the other players, they lured the monsters into the smoke cloud. Under Flaming Tiger's command, they started killing the kobolds in an orderly manner. Great, this is just great. Even after sharing a kobold's EXP with so many people, my experience still increased by 2%. Brother Tiger, this is really fantastic. These monsters also drop ore and a lot of money. Not only that, but these kobolds also respawn quickly. We can grind here without limits until we reach level 6. By that time, we Shadow will definitely become Red Leaf Town's number 1 guild. The members of Shadow started laughing happily. It wouldn't take many hours before every one of them reached level 6. It was already great just imagining how they would suppress the other guilds in Red Leaf Town. Ha ha ha, consider yourselves lucky for following me. The other team leaders are nothing. When the time comes, I'll become Shadow's captain. Flaming Tiger was in a great mood. With such an increase in experience, it wouldn't take an hour before he rose to level 2, compensating for his previous losses. Meanwhile, at the nearby location of Crimson Star Mine, Blackie was grinding his teeth in anger. Brother Fong, are we just going to let this go? That was hard to obtain information that came from a beta tester, but now it's just profiting these people. I get angry just from thinking about it. These people from Shadow are just shameless. Fortunately, I didn't join them. Shifeng shook his head as he looked at the system panel's clock, smiling indifferently. They dare to steal my things. We'll let them enjoy it for now. In a moment, we'll let them know after happiness comes sorrow. Chapter 15 After happiness comes sorrow. Time passed, bit by bit. Shifeng and Blackie did not just do nothing. They were killing level 4 roaming gnomes in a place not far from Crimson Star Mine. Roaming gnome common, level 4, HP 400. Compared to the kobolds, the roaming gnomes were much agiler. They were very good at dodging. However, their attack and defense weren't all that good. Moreover, Dark Moon Valley had yet to be developed. The monsters here were more numerous, and there was nobody here to compete with. There was no need to search for monsters to kill. Shifeng was already a level 3 swordsman, while Blackie was a level 2 cursemancer. After activating Fast and Nimble, the roaming gnome's dagger had no chance of even touching Shifeng. As for Blackie, his damage was even fiercer after drinking a black steel beer. With Shifeng entangling the gnomes in the front, and Blackie dealing damage from behind, killing off the roaming gnomes became very easy. The efficiency was even better than grinding off the kobolds. In the front of the Crimson Star Mine, groups of kobolds laid still before the mine's entrance. Copper coins and various kinds of ores were scattered all over the ground. Brother Tiger, this place is just too great. It's just been over half an hour, and everyone is already level 2. So much money dropped, as well. Ha ha ha, keep up the effort everyone. You 3, lure more monsters. As long as we continue grinding this way, it will only be 3 to 4 hours before we can rise to level 3. Flaming Tiger excitedly commanded the 3 assassins that just recently arrived to lure the kobolds. The mages were already level 2, so the speed of killing the kobolds had increased by a big leap. Luring a group of over 30 kobolds was not enough for them. Brother Tiger, something dropped here. A berserker held on to a book as he shouted. Bring it here, let me have a look at it. Flaming Tiger said while smiling. He licked his dried lips when he saw something dropped. After Flaming Tiger received the book, he suddenly started laughing loudly. Great, really great. Not only has the spot that kid found after much effort been taken over by me, but if he knew a rare skill for swordsman was even in my hands. I really want to see that kid's look of regret. Brother Tiger, I saw that kid when I came here. They were still nearby killing roaming gnomes. I'm guessing that they're still unwilling to leave and still thinking of this place. Why don't we go over and kill them? Save us some trouble. A cold glint flashed through Quiet Wolf's eyes. They were filled with killing intent. He was overcome by a great resentment after being killed twice by Shifang. Flaming Tiger waved his hand, with a disdainful smile on his face as he said, then let them look. Watch at how fast we level up and earn money, and at how we become the tyrants of Red Leaf Town. Meanwhile, they can only watch from a side with their hearts full of regret and unwillingness. Ha ha ha, I feel great just thinking about it. Although Quiet Wolf still held some resentment over it, when he imagined Shifang's unwilling appearance and how he could only exhaust himself killing roaming gnomes, Quiet Wolf's heart felt a great gust of pleasure. Just you wait, the moment I reach level 6 will be your death. Quiet Wolf did not actually give up on killing Shifang. Instead, when he thought about the pleasure he would feel after killing Shifang when he was level 6, he couldn't help but look forward to it. Meanwhile, in the forest 60 yards south of the Crimson Star Mine, Shifang was using a tree to hide while he observed Flaming Tiger and the others. Brother Fang, can the two of us handle it? Blackie asked in a worried tone. These 11 people were not just any average players. They were experts that had passed Shadow Workshop's examination. Moreover, there were 2 healers on their side. It was impossible to kill all of these people just by depending on the 2 of them. Relax. The time is almost up. We'll just watch the show. Shifang looked at the time, indifferently saying, in a moment, you go stand at the back. Kill whoever has low HP. Don't let even one of them get away. Time is almost up. Blackie didn't understand what it meant. Shifang pointed towards the smoke cloud in front of the Crimson Star Mine's entrance, saying with a smile, that Flaming Tiger must think that killing monsters of a higher level is easy. The smoke bomb that we placed before we left has a time limit, and only 2 minutes are left before the hour is up. Did they think they could continuously enjoy my domain after stealing it from me? Now, I'll teach them how to be proper human beings. Blackie was struck with a realization. His worship towards Shifang became even greater now. Brother Fang is still the smartest. Those brats from Shadow are definitely goners this time, Blackie said with a grin. The reason they could cross levels and harmlessly kill kobolds was that of the smoke bombs. They definitely couldn't do without them. If there were no smoke bomb, then the consequences would be horrifying. 2 minutes later, the smoke cloud in front of the Crimson Star Mine slowly dispersed. Brother Tiger, why is that smoke cloud disappearing? An elementalist asked Flaming Tiger after noticing the disappearing smoke cloud. The smoke cloud disappeared. It can't be. Flaming Tiger abruptly woke up from his nap. When he looked over at the mine's entrance, the smoke cloud really did disappear. If it's gone, then fine. The smoke cloud might be a periodic thing. Don't bother with it. Keep on grinding. Just as Flaming Tiger finished speaking, the usually stupid-looking kobolds that did not retaliate suddenly looked towards the members of Shadow Workshop in unison. There were over 40 kobolds with blood-red eyes. The kobolds let out angry growls after finally discovering the people who had been attacking them. Suddenly, they all came rushing forth. The members of Shadow did not react at all. Within an instant, they were surrounded and given a beating by the kobolds. A level 2 player could hardly take 3 hits from a kobold, not to mention a group of kobolds. 7 players died within a blink of an eye. The backline players became a mess as they ran for their lives. However, the kobolds were very fast. It only took them moments to catch up to the escaping mages. For each mage, they were gifted a hammer to their heads. The mages quickly lie still on the floor, never to rise up again. Crap, what is going on here? Why did these kobolds suddenly become insane? Flaming Tiger cursed. He quickly turned tail and ran the moment he noticed the situation turned bad. They had risen to level 2 after much effort. However, this death sent them all back to level 1. There were even 3 assassins who were level 0. It was an absolute loss. With such an increase and decrease, the dream becoming the tyrants of Red Leaf Town also perished. Instead, the current members of Shadow weren't even up to par with the average player. They were even further away from the other guilds. Flaming Tiger's heart started to bleed in pain. We meet again, Brother Tycoon, Shifang said with an indifferent smile. He currently blocked Flaming Tiger's escape path. After seeing Shifang's sneer, even an idiot would understand that the kobold's rebellion had something to do with him. You're dead for sure, kid. You dare to actually scheme against me. If I don't kill you back to level 0, then my name will be read backward. All of Flaming Tiger's hair stood up in anger. He raised his shield and swung it at Shifang. Compared to the other members of Shadow Workshop, Flaming Tiger's skills were clearly a tier higher. With one hand, he used his shield to block Shifang's vision, while he used the other to stab his short sword towards Shifang's vital point. It was simple, yet sinister, and it was very hard to stop. However, Flaming Tiger's confident strike struck air. Where is he? Flaming Tiger fixed his gaze to the front. However, there wasn't even a shadow of a person present. Over here, Shifang stood behind Flaming Tiger, his sword waving down. Chop. A damage of -36 appeared above Flaming Tiger's head. His HP had instantly gone from 220 to 184. When Flaming Tiger was hit, he hurriedly spun around and used Shield Bash. However, Shifang had long since seen through Flaming Tiger's movements. He took a step backward and spun his body around, hiding by the shield. Then, Shifang arrived once more at Flaming Tiger's back, giving him another sword slash. Without the use of any skills, Shifang could only deal 23 damage to a shield warrior with high defense. You coward, don't hide if you have the ability. I can kill you anytime I want. Flaming Tiger could not land any hits on the agile Shifang. His HP was constantly decreasing, and only 83 points of it remained now. He had no way of dealing with Shifang's attacks, so he decided to start ridiculing Shifang in hopes of provoking him, allowing Flaming Tiger the chance to kill Shifang. Sure, I'll stand here without dodging. Come attack me then, Shifang answered without hesitation. Flaming Tiger silently smiled. He never imagined that Shifang was such a fool, taking the bait with just a small amount of stimulation. Watch how I'll toy with you to death. Flaming Tiger raised his shield and used charge at Shifang. If Shifang didn't dodge, then he could only take the hit forcefully. In terms of strength, Flaming Tiger wouldn't lose to Shifang. However, only disappointment was waiting for him. Just when Flaming Tiger was 2 yards away from Shifang immediately used Thundering Flash. 3 streaks of thunder went past Flaming Tiger's shield, directly landing on his body. 3 high damages appeared above Flaming Tiger's head, -28, -35, -41, his HP instantly dropping to 0. You, despicable. Flaming Tiger glared at Shifang. He was furious to the point of spitting out blood. If it weren't for himself rushing towards Shifang on his own accord, he wouldn't have been struck by all the attacks of that skill. Are you alright, Brother Tycoon? I said I would stand here without dodging, but I've never said I wouldn't move my hands. How could you be so gullible, even rushing over yourself? Shifang spread out his arms, showing that it was all a mistake, saying, oh, right. I still have to thank Brother Tycoon for earning me so many ores. You've saved me a lot of time. Flaming Tiger pointed towards Shifang, wanting to say something. However, his body had already turned into starlight and disappeared. He couldn't even utter a single word, only leaving behind a pile of ore and a single book. Chapter 16 Everyone's a liar. In Red Leaf Town's noisy plaza, flashes of white light appeared. Following which, figures of players appeared, one by one. These players were the revived members of Shadow. These people had down and extremely depressed expressions on their faces. Nothing could beat the pain and entangled feeling of having recently gained something, then losing it again. Just a moment ago, they were still dreaming of becoming the tyrants of Red Leaf Town. Their levels were increasing, it was like flying. In the next second, however, they died. Not only had their levels and skill proficiency decreased, but the experience they had at level 1 was also lower than before. They were much worse off compared to the average player. Flaming Tiger's expression after reviving was even more livid. His eyes alone could eat a person alive. System. Player Yifeng has killed you. You will be revived in Red Leaf Town after 3 seconds. At the same time, you will lose 1 level, and all your skill proficiencies will be reduced by 100 points. Yifeng, I will not let you off. I will definitely make you wish for death. Flaming Tiger let out an angry bellow after looking at the numbers displayed by the system. His actions had caused the other players to quickly avoid him, not daring to look at this madman.